Hello, readers. Welcome to another reading lesson with me, Miss Taylor. All right. Are we ready to read? Do we have our textbook? Do we have a bookmark or a finger to follow along? Workbook, pencil? If you don't have your things for reading, pause the video, go and get your things, and then come and meet me right back here. All right. We are going to remember to track with our finger, to read each word carefully, and pay attention to end marks. Some of our goals, we're going to read with accuracy and expression. We're going to understand what's happening in the story. We're going to make connections to characters' feelings. We're going to enjoy the story. All right, we know that reading is thinking. There's so many things that are going on in our brains as we are reading and thinking and making connections and asking questions and visualizing and summarizing, kind of thinking about what was the main idea of what we read about, predicting and synthesizing and inferring, figuring things out. So in our last lesson, we figured out that Wendy was taking an important test, and if she did well on the test, she would get to go on a trip across the solar system. And so we had to kind of figure out or infer that this story is taking place in the future, because there were like some students, and when they took a test, then the students who do really well on the test, the 10 students who do really well get to go on this trip across the solar system. And so that sounds like something that could happen in the future. And then later we found out that our story takes place in the year 2230. So basically like 200 years into the future. So about 210 years into the future. So we kind of figured that out. And let's see. So we have a vocabulary sentence. This is a review sentence for us today. Without gravity, they were weightless. So everyone, what word means that something has no weight? Yeah, weightless. What word names the force that pulls things back to Earth? Yeah, gravity. Nice job. All right, let's go ahead and look at our word list here. And let me see if I can make this a little smaller. There we go. Okay. So we are on lesson 54. It is page 269. So please join me on page 269. And let's take a look at word list number 1. Word 1 is message. What word? Word 2 is improvement. What word? Word 3 is magnetic. What word? And word 4 is equipment. What word? Nice job. Let's look at column 2. All of these words are numbers. Word 1 is 18. What number? Word 2 is 100. What number? Word 3 is 30. What number? Word 4 is 25. What number? And word 5 is 12. What number? Nice job. All right, column 3. Word 1 is daydreaming. What word? Yeah, when you daydream, you think about things that you would like to be doing. So you might daydream about being on vacation, or you might daydream about playing with a certain toy that you like. Word 2 is section. What word? Section is another word for part. So instead of saying he read a part of the book, you could say he read a section of the book. Word 3 is comfortable. What word? Yeah, comfortable means something that feels nice or cozy. All right, word 4 is latest. What word? And word 5 is snack. What word? Nice job. Let's go to column 4. Word 1 is streak. What word? Word 2 is traveler. What word? Word 3 is final. What word? Word 4 is written. What word? Word 5 is nervous. What word? Word 6 is uncovered. What word? Nice job. And column number 5. Word 1 is office. What word? Word 2 is certainly. What word? Word 3 is spaceship. What word? Word 4 is worried. What word? And word 5 is correctly. What word? Nice job. All right. So let's see, let's go ahead and look at our book, and we're going to look at the part B. And part B is about past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Ooh, switched my direction there. All right. Whoops. Still, I was playing around with this. Okay. So things that are happening now are in the present time. So things that are happening right now, it's called the present. Things that will happen are in the future time. All right, so look at the dates on the timeline. So we can see a timeline here, and you can look at the dates. And you will notice that it says present year, and the present year, that means right now. And our book is a little bit old. It was developed about 10 or 15 years ago, but that's why it says the present year, and then it says 2020 right above it. But we know that we are actually, the present year is 2020. But when this book was created, it was about the year maybe 2000 or 2010. And so it was back here. But right now we are in the year 2020. And then we can see this way is in the future where our story takes place in the year 2230. All right. So let's see. Look at the dates on the timeline. Some dates on the timeline are in the past and some are in the future. What is the present year? Yeah, we are in the year 2020. That's the present year. What is the earliest year shown on the timeline? And that would be this one, right? The year 1380. 1380, that's the earliest time. What is the future year that is closest to the present year? And actually, it's kind of funny because our present year is 2020. So, present is 2020. What is the future year that is farthest in the future? That would be this one, right? The farthest in the future would be 2230. Touch each year on the timeline and tell if it's in the past or the future. So let's touch 1380. What would this be, the past or the future? Past. What about 1900? Past. What about 2020? Present, right now. And what about 2230? Future. Nice job. All right. Let's take a look at part C. And part C is about the test questions. The test questions. All right. Wendy started to feel sick because she couldn't remember the answer to the question. What question couldn't she remember the answer to? Do you remember from the last story? Yeah, she couldn't remember the answer to which planet has more moons, Jupiter or Saturn. Then she said to herself, well, figure out the answer. She's kind of talking to herself. Well, figure it out. So she thought, and she remembered. Jupiter has 63 moons. Saturn has 47 moons. Wow, Jupiter has 63 moons. And Saturn has 47. Which planet has more moons? Jupiter. Wendy wrote the answer to the question. She knew it was correct. The next items on the test asked facts about different places in the world. Here are the items. If you went west from San Francisco, what is the name of the country you would reach first? Ooh, everybody, what's the answer? Japan. If you go west from the United States, what ocean do you cross? What's the answer? Yeah, the Pacific Ocean. Which is larger in size, Japan or Alaska? Alaska. Which has colder winter temperatures, the United States or Canada? Canada, yeah, it's farther north on the map. In which direction would you go from Canada to reach the main part of the United States? What's the answer? South. Wendy answered the questions quickly. The next question asked about spaceships. The item showed a picture of Traveler 4, the latest spaceship. The instructions said, label the lettered parts. Here's what Wendy wrote. So we can see here, this is what Wendy wrote. So everyone, let's look at the picture. You can see the things that Wendy wrote on the diagram of the spaceship. Everybody, what does the letter A show in the picture? Here's letter A. It shows engines, yeah. What about the letter B? The passenger section. What about the letter C? Cargo section. And cargo is like luggage and other things that you might carry. It's kind of like another word for stuff, cargo. What about letter D? That would be the crew section. And the crew are like the people that work on this spaceship. So let's take a minute to study the picture because we'll have some questions about Traveler 4. All right, here's some of those questions. There were more items about Traveler 4. Here are those items and Wendy's answers. How long is Traveler 4? 405 feet. 405 feet. So 1 foot is the length of a ruler. So 405 of those, that would be like the length of a football field. Wow, that's pretty big. How much weight can Traveler 4 carry? 600,000 pounds. Wow, 600,000 pounds. So picture this tremendous spaceship. It's over 400 feet long and it can carry 600,000 pounds. That is a lot of weight. That is actually more than the weight of 50 elephants. If you wanted to carry 50 elephants, that would be about 600,000 pounds. How many people are in the crew? 30. How many passengers does Traveler 4 hold? 200. 200 passengers, wow. So there's 30 people on the crew, 30 people that work on the spaceship, and then there's another 200 passengers. So it can hold how many people? Yeah, about 230 people. How fast can Traveler 4 travel? 1,000 miles per second. 1,000 miles in 1 second? Holy moly. So that is so fast. At that speed, it could go all the way across the United States in 2.5 seconds. Oh my goodness. So remember, the speed tells how many miles the spaceship can go in 1 second. So 1,000 miles per second. So not 1,000 miles per hour. A lot of times that's how we measure like how fast a car will go, like 60 miles per hour. This is 1,000 miles per second. Wow. After Wendy answered the last question about Traveler 4, she thought about that ship. Imagine moving through space at the speed of 1,000 miles per second. At that speed, you could go across the United States in 2.5 seconds. You could go around the world in only 25 seconds. Can you imagine going all around the world in 25 seconds? You could go from Earth to the moon in only 4 minutes. Wow, you could travel to the moon in 4 minutes. Wow. Wendy's mind moved away from the test. It began imagining what it must be like in Traveler 4. Imagine sitting in a comfortable passenger section that holds 200 passengers. Imagine sitting there, eating a snack and talking to the person next to you as you streak through space at 1,000 miles each second. The idea was so strange and impossible and exciting that Wendy could feel goosebumps forming on her arms. Goosebumps on her arms. Imagine going from Earth to Jupiter in only 4.5 days. In that time, the spaceship would travel almost 400 million miles. Imagine. Wow. Suddenly, Wendy said to herself, if you want to go on that trip, you'd better do a good job on this test. So stop daydreaming and start working. She's talking to herself. She's giving herself a little pep talk. All right. Please read the rest of the story to yourself. Get ready to answer a few questions. If you're still reading, pause the video. So everyone, which planet did Wendy know the most about? Earth, right? But which planet did she find the most interesting? Japan. Yeah, because Japan is the biggest planet in the solar system. It's very interesting. So try to not look at the answers in the book and see if you can say the answer to these questions. Everybody, how fast does Traveler 4 travel? 1,000 miles per second. Holy cow. How far is it from Earth to Jupiter? 400 million miles. Oh my goodness. Wow. What do you think? Would that be interesting, going on a trip to Jupiter and traveling in Traveler 4, this spaceship that travels 1,000 miles per second? Whoa. All right, so students, what is next? You are going to reread the story one more time on your own. You're going to answer the questions at the end of the story, complete your workbook pages, and read for 20 minutes. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'm excited to find out tomorrow how Wendy does on the test. Are you making some predictions? How's she going to do? I have my own prediction. All right, we'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, readers, and I will see you again soon.